Hello, guys. Welcome to this particular episode. So, in this particular episode, we'll just be talking about ReactJS and its ecosystem. And to do that, I brought in Gitcoder to have a discussion about ReactJS, how to stay updated in the ecosystem, what has been happening, how to um, how to become better ReactJS developer, and how to write the best React.js code on the front end. I think Yassi, you could just like come live and let's get right into it.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's good.
okay, cool. So first off, I think I really appreciate you taking out time to do this with me, and we getting to have a discussion about React.js. Without wasting much time, let's jump right into it.
Mhm.
Can you just give us a quick introduction of yourself, and yeah, let's just start from there.
Okay. So I'm Yassin. I'm a software engineer mainly focused on front end developments. So my first programming language it was C language. Then I start to specify on front end development. The reason is I like design, so the intersection between programming and design is front end developments. And AKA Gitcoder. So yeah, this is me.
Yeah, amazing. That was really amazing. I think okay, cool. So you said you started out working on the front end because you have like you love designs and working on like user experience and stuff, right? Which is
Yeah.
pretty much amazing. Yeah. So that's really cool. I think what caught my attention to your work out there was mostly your blog, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
actually caught my attention because you have amazing blogs on React.js and it's just really amazing. I think I will leave a link to your blog on the video description. Like you guys need to check it out. Okay, cool. That's pretty
Thank you.
much amazing, right?
I appreciate.
Let's just jump right into it. So in this discussion, we'll just be talking about React.js. So first off, here comes the question: what is React.js, right? So like let's take for example, I don't know what React.js is. I've just started out on the front end and I just need an introduction. What is React.js? Like to you, what do you think React.js is?
Hmm. Wow, that's it's a really good question. React.js basically is a JavaScript library. Well, I mean, for used for interfaces, for building interfaces. It's so good library and it's popular right now. It has a lot of advantages, and it's so good, and a lot of big companies they work with it. So, yeah, this is a small introduction, but we will dive deeply on that. Yeah, I hope that is enough for
Oh,
right now.
yeah, that's pretty much it. So you said React.js is mostly used for building out what did you say again?
Yeah, I said it's a
For like
JavaScript
building out you
library for yeah used for building interfaces. I mean,
oh,
yeah.
all right, all right.
React is. I mean, if we will talk, I mean, we will dive deeply on something is a good library right now. It's a mid you easy front end developer and strong front end developer also. It's so cool. That's so good, man.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what was your first project with React.js like? So since you said okay, React.js is mostly a JavaScript library and we get to use it on the front end to build out interfaces. Like what was your first project like? And like how was it? How long have you been have you been writing React.js? So now this is a two question. First off, how was your first experience with React.js? Do you have any other previous experience using any other framework on the front end apart from
Yeah.
React.js? And like, yeah, so like, how was your first project with React.js?
Okay, so I started working React many years ago. I think my first project with it was like a simple one. it was like I made in a landing page, with the routers, like something like this. It was my first portfolio I did. Like I want to try and introduce that by React. So I start to learn there, like how to do routing, how the stage it work, use FX and some stuff like that. That was really cool, and that's so good. I like it so much, really. About yeah, I tried another libraries, for example, Angular and Vue.js. Why I choose
Okay.
React for me. So I can't say React is the best or React is good or something, because Angular or Vue, it's so good. And this is hard question for answer, like to came and say to you no.
Yeah.
But I think I mean, when we talk about Angular as a framework, and it has some advantages really, and also React has advantages and Vue.js has advantages. So for me, React, why I choose it, because it was easy to learn for me, because
Hmm.
I like front end, so it was so easy for me. When I tried Angular, you should that time you should know what is decorators. You should dive deeply on TypeScript more. You know that it's
Yeah.
I mean it's take time more, because if you came from JavaScript, and you want to learn Angular, you need to take a step to learn TypeScript, okay, and you dive deeply on that.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, so for me, React, it was so easy for learn, it's, and also to don't lose time, because me, I was need to build some projects and to do something for my side, so I chose React. So yeah, that's I forget something. You asked me another question.
Yeah. So the question was, so like, how was um, how was your first project like? I think you already answered that, which you said
Yeah.
you got to work on some little projects when you were translating. So okay, I think what we could go ahead and talk about right now is why you already, I think you already answered why React, right? Because you said, oh, it was quite easy for you to pick up, why coming from like vanilla JavaScript and compared to Angular and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. So honestly, React is a library. I mean, easy to use and simple more. So it has a lot of features. For example, like simple to learn, fast and responsive. Reuse. It has like reusable component, and also it has a big ecosystem, and it can be easy to plug in
Yeah.
with another libraries or something. I mean, other technologies.
Right. All right. That's pretty much it. I think about React.js because um I think also I started out working on React.js and I think my first framework was Angular too. I tried out Angular. I
Oh,
think then it was Angular 8. Was it Angular 8 or 6?
wow, it's
Um,
old.
like you said, yeah, that's pretty much old. Like you said, you needed to understand TypeScript, right?
MVVM.
Before you could start working. Yeah, you need to understand TypeScript before you could start working with Angular. And it was pretty much, I won't say it was hard, but compared to React.js was just
Yeah,
JavaScript. Just pick up the
yeah,
documentation
definitely.
and just jump right into it.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
that,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's pretty much that's pretty much amazing. So I think for people that are starting out in React.js, what can you actually tell them? Like, what are the core concept of React.js? What do you think a new beginner, right? Let's say, for example, a new front end developer that started out working on the front end or learning front end tools, and they are done with the basic, right? The basic technologies on the web, which is HTML, CSS, and also JavaScript. And they are at the point of, okay, choosing a library or
Sorry.
choosing a framework to start working with, and they stumble upon React.js, right? So, like,
Yeah,
what are the core concepts of what are the core concepts they should learn first, like at the beginning part of React, like working with React?
yeah. Okay. So, so my suggestion for beginners who want to learn, I mean, React.js. First of all, I mean, React.js. It's so simple library. It mean it will not take a lot of energy to understand. It's so easy, but you need to have something before to start to learn it. Okay. Sure, you need to have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You don't need a lot of JavaScript in the beginning, like to dive deeply more. You need something like map, filter, these functions. I mean, how to use it. So it's really important. And for me, if you already learned Tailwind CSS, I mean for styling, it can be good because for productivity. Me, I recommend that for a lot of people. Tailwind CSS, it's made you so productive. And at the same time, also, and up to the, I mean, it's up to the project. You can use in another one. So yeah, and then you should get some knowledge about what is the package manager. You should know what is package manager, checking an idea, for example. So then I think for me the main thing is JavaScript, really to understand JavaScript well, how to use the functions of JavaScript. I mean the methods, etc. And that's really important. Then I mean, you can be ready for starting. I mean, learning React. So yeah, it's not require a lot of things. Okay, it doesn't require a lot of things. So that's why React is simple. Okay, you just need this stuff and you can start learning.
So that's really really amazing because I think there's actually a line between picking a framework like working on the front end, right, and working with vanilla JavaScript. So, like you said, you need to make sure your foundations are very solid.
Yeah.
Make sure your foundation in JavaScript is solid before you pick a framework or whatever framework you're working with. That's pretty much amazing. Okay, so I think the next question I have for you here is so like you said in the beginning where you gave like an introduction to like React.js, you talked about other framework like Vue.js and Angular. I think those are like the most popular one in the ecosystem for JavaScript. What are the advantages of using React.js? Because the other framework out there, why must I use Java? Why must I use React.js? Like, why don't I use Vue.js? Why don't I learn Angular, and why must like? What do you think are the advantages, right, for a
Okay.
newbie that is starting out on the front end? Yeah.
So as what you said, so I mean, we don't say React is better than Angular or Angular better than React or Vue better than Angular, and just it's up to the person. Honestly, it's really up to the person. I can give you another suggestion is like if you just came, I mean, from JavaScript, you have no idea about you didn't work with I mean, in a library. I recommend for you React. Why? Because React, it will keep you motivated to learn more because it's so easy to learn. Okay, and it's so strong at the same time, easy to learn and so strong. I can say Angular, I mean, it's not also it can be easy to learn, but it's need requirements. Okay, more requirements to learn. Okay,
Okay.
and Angular, it has another advantage is for best practices because it has really good. It's so strong Angular for best practices. So if you are, I mean the structure of Angular, it's followed best practices by default. So that's how I see that. So for you, I mean for you, that's why choose React because React. If you just came from JavaScript, if you just learned JavaScript, you will. I mean, directly you will dive deeply on React and you start learning that. Uh, for another, I mean, I can suggest for you Angular or Vue.js. Vue.js also it's good for the newbie. Also, for me, I see. I mean, React is better. So the reasons it's how it works behind the scene, the code, the team. It has a big community, so it's so big. I mean, if you ask any question, you will find the answer. If you just Google any question, you will find the answer immediately. It's supported by a lot of libraries more. I mean, like ShadCN right now, it's so strong for that. I mean, it's really good UI library. It has a lot of things. I mean, it's so good. So yeah, that's important, and also it's good for search engine optimization. It has a lot of features. Yeah, so that's why I mean I recommend it for, I mean, the people who wanna, I mean, just they finish JavaScript, I mean, or they learn JavaScript, they can start directly using React. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
All right. That's pretty much good. I think. Okay, cool. So like I think you mentioned the community. I just wanted to point that out too because I think one of the amazing things about React.js should be the community, like you mentioned, because
Yeah,
like you said, you could just Google search your question and even Stack Overflow. Like there's a lot of community members that could help you out. They could unblock you every at every minute, right? Because React.js is very popular. Yeah,
yeah,
I think
definitely.
it
Yeah,
should be the most popular JavaScript library out there for like almost 10 years now, and um, yeah, it's pretty much amazing. Yeah, so I think the next question, right, is kind of should I say, is controversial, and they have been the back and forth in the community about what is the best way to of setting up a React.js project from scratch. Recently, the React.js the React.js library, I think they came up with a new documentation, and they gave us like some new introduction of like some new APIs available in React.js. And surprisingly, what we got to see was the way of setting up React.js should be Next.js, right? So
yeah,
like the fastest way of setting up a React.js should be Next.js, and there was this back and forth in the ecosystem. I don't know if you remember about no, like
yeah.
Next.js is this, Next.js is that. We can't do this right now. So like, what are you gonna what are you gonna tell our audience? Like, what is the best way of setting up a React.js project? Like in 2024, like in this year, what is the best way of starting a React.js project?
That's cool. I mean, as what you said. So also, this is another advantage of React. It's so good about this, and it's give you the opportunity to choose also the framework. It has like Next.js. Also, you have Remix. That's so good. Yeah. So I mean, it will be improved right now also by the compiler. React compiler is will imagine if I mean it will help you more for optimize the code. So React it will be so good more. It will be so I mean strong more and more and more. And
Yeah.
without talking about the structure behind the scene, how to use like the fiber reconciliation algorithms, work progress staff. That's so strong. Really, it's so strong. If you go and read the code, is open source on GitHub. That's unbelievable. It's really optimizable code. So that's so good. And right now they will. I mean, the team of React they will improve that more and more and more. Adding like server components also. So React it will be more than good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think going into React Server components, it's I actually don't want to talk about it on this call because I
It's
just wanted to keep this call, yeah, very basic right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
And because going into React Server components, going to server actions, and like those amazing stuff, like those are amazing features that are being exposed from React.js, and also the community, Remix, Next.js, and yeah, and the whole community.
yeah.
So like for you, right, what will you suggest is the best way to start a React project for a beginner? So for example, I'm just starting out React.js. I started learning React.js. Now mind you, the documentation, React.js documentation, right, react.dev, they already given us an option, or I'm not going to call it an option, but like they've
The
told us
guide.
what to use. Yeah, they told us what to use to start a new React project. They said, okay, you could go out there and start your React project with Next.js. And I think currently we're at Next.js 14. But like a lot of people have been skeptical about it. And if you remember correctly, we still have Create React app. It still exists, right? You could still create
Yeah.
applications, or your local applications, like on your system, with Create React app. So for you, what will you tell a newbie? Should they go with
Okay.
Next.js? Should they go with Vice? Should they go with Create React app? Like what would be your advice to them?
For me, I mean, my suggestion is please start with pure React first of all. For me,
Okay.
why I say that because when you will start with pure React and your process for learning React, you will meet a lot of things. And here I'm talking exactly about I mean about tool chain. For example, also we need, I mean, Bandler. We need, like, for example, like something like Babel. You will meet some tools like how to work with I mean, npm, how to work with something like this. You will start to understand that well, step by step. Because for me, if the person came directly and jumped to next, it works well. But do you know? I mean, for me, I need the person. He should know what is React and what is Next.js. Because if you came and you start to learn Next.js directly, it will be hard for you to separate what is React. You will think React is all is the Next.js, but the Next.js is a framework complete to React, and it has additional features. So you will not separate. So what the I mean, what this thing give you? What I said, that is give you the power to not learn just Next.js. You can also go and learn Remix because already you learned React. Okay, so you know what is React well. You know everything is good, so it can be easy for you to choose any framework, and you have a strong knowledge for that. But yes, React, it's not enough with itself. I agree. It's need a framework. I mean, it's need the Next.js, Remix, whatever. You should choose one. And here is the power of React. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. Because I think there have been these arguments about, okay, Next.js remix, and like let's not just get into that. And
Yeah, it's deep.
because I don't think the conversation will end today if we eventually start talking about that. Yeah. But like I understand the community concern, and the team at React, right, going with Next.js, and I also
Hmm.
stand with that. I also accept that, because, like you said, now taking the word straight out of your mouth, you said React.js is not enough on its own. Cool. So with Next.js, you have access to routers, right?
Yeah,
To components,
definitely.
and
Yeah,
the beauty about these frameworks that are built, like, I'm gonna call them meta frameworks. These meta frameworks
yeah,
built on React. The beauty
yeah.
about them are they are mostly optimized, right? So you don't have to like do a lot of heavy lifting on the front and
Hmm.
start thinking about
Hmm.
a lot of stuff. But like,
Yeah,
um yeah, but like I understand the concern of the community about, oh, that a newbie shouldn't just start out with Next.js. I understand fully well, because if you're starting out with Next.js, for example, to start learning React, right now we are at Next.js 14, and think very soon we should be at Next.js 15. And newbies will be very confused if they need to learn the page router
definitely.
or the app
Yeah,
router, what are client components, what are React server
yeah,
components, like what are server actions, what are use form action, like what are those things like, and um and those things actually, they are all coming from the React team, right? So
yeah,
the reason
yeah,
the reason
definitely.
the reason why I feel the React team had to advise the community to go with Next.js is because there's a lot of reasons, right? It's because those are the best standards, or should I say the best
Hmm.
way of handling those handling most of the stuff in React.js, because React.js and the Next.js team at Vessel, I think they work hand in hand to keep
Yeah,
these APIs updated. So like, yeah, so for our
definitely.
newbies, if you want to try out Next.js, I think you just need, like Gitcoder said, make sure you get the basics, understand the states management, understand how to handle
Yeah,
props, understand, like, you need to understand the basics before picking a meta framework, Remix,
yeah,
Next.js, or
definitely.
whatever. Yeah, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. And
That's
that's also, yeah. And to give them the power more, and they will, I mean, be confident more, and they can choose, I mean, what they want really. That's so strong things.
all right, all right, cool, cool. I think we could just talk about state management in React.js, right? State management
Yeah,
is another conversation we've been having for years in the community about, okay, what is the best state management? You don't need state management tools. You need it. Okay, Redux. You shouldn't use Redux. You should use Zexstand. You should use Recoil. Like, there've been a lot of back and forth about what should be the state management tool to use on the front end when using React. So like from your own experience, right, building softwares with React.js on the front end, what do you think should be the best state management tool?
Yeah, so with my experience in front end development, decision management, I mean I separate it for three things: is use state, the combo with use reducer and use context. I mean context and use reducer. The combo is the pattern, and the last is a library. I mean additional library like Redux or something. So it just like a normal stuff. I mean, I use stage, and if have something like some stage, it's medium. I can share it. I can use it. I mean, it's also. I mean,
I think Yassi, Gitcoder is currently having some technical difficulty. It should be joining soon. Yeah. Let's quickly wait for him to join us soon. Okay, so I think it should be joining us soon. Yeah, he should be joining us soon. I just texted him now and just having some technical difficulty. Yeah, I think that should pretty much be it. So I think for me, more like the whole conversation around React.js, its ecosystem, and what you should use on the front end, what you should not use, why you should learn React.js. It's um it's it's been an argument like for the past years, because for newbies coming into the ecosystem, people trying to learn new stuff, there's always, okay, don't do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, and you have to do that. Yeah, so like, you have to do this and you have to do that, you have to learn this and you don't have to learn this. I think as a newbie, what you should be looking out for, what you should be more focused on, is trying to build your skill, trying to understand the basics, right? The fundamentals when working with React.js. So like, once you get those all worked out, right, you don't have to worry about what's happening in the ecosystem. You don't have to be too worried about the updates, since you are already good with the basics, right? Whatever updates coming from the React team, whatever updates coming from whatever meta framework you're using, right, you could always update. So like a good example, right, was when previously React.js, we had to make use of class-based components, and got to we were introduced to functional based components, right? So like, if you already understand the basics of what was happening behind the scene, right, with your class based components, switching over to functional components or function components wasn't going to be an issue for you as a React developer, right? And yeah,
the
I
network
think
is
that should
back.
just be
Do you
it.
hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do
I
you
can
hear
hear you
me?
now. Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I think still Gitcoder is still trying to connect. Just make sure you get your basics. Make sure you understand the basics. Make sure you understand the fundamentals, and you should be fine. You don't have to worry about the updates. I think there's always an update happening on the front end, wherever framework you're using, wherever library you're using out there. There's always the front end always change. Like, that's one constant that's always been happening like the past years on the front end, and every front end developer get to experience the change. So once the change happens, you understand your fundamentals, you understand how the web works, you understand um, the basics, right, of the web. You shouldn't have an issue picking up this stuff. Just go into documentation, read what you need to do, what you need to change. Just because the change is always going to happen. Like, if I'm being 100% sincere with you right now, the change is always going to happen, and you should be ready for the change. The change is always going to happen on the front end, and there's nothing anybody could do about it, because the improvement has to come in. Because, okay, now let's look for a good example. Back then, we were mostly working with jQuery, which is an amazing tool, right? Very amazing, and a lot of applications still make use of jQuery till today to build out their site. But we already evolved from that from jQuery into going to like SPAs, single page applications, right? To make sure there's a lot of faster, like building out faster front end, and it's really been an amazing journey on the front end. So like the change is always gonna happen, the change is always gonna be there, and you just have to embrace the change and make sure your basics and your foundations are very, very strong. And I think you should pretty
Yeah,
much be all right. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Gitcoder is back. Hi, Gitcoder.
I get it. I think I'm sorry about the problem of network.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I said I was talking about stage management. I said I mean I separate that for three things. I mean use stage. I mean sure we talk about React and the combo between use context and use reducer, and I mean the library or I mean for state management like Redux or Zstand or whatever. What I can say is use stage, this is for I mean the beginners. Maybe you don't know the hooks, so when you will dive deeply or you read a little bit, you start to know in the hook what is use stage. So use stage is like a simple function for state management, just for something so simple or based, and it's help you for render also. I mean the interface, that's what I'm talking about. It's so simple. The second one is I say the combo between use context and use reducer, and this one you can use it just for like something medium, or you want to share just something like globally with another things, just for for left state and app, so something like that. But if you, I mean, you really need a really more complex project, you work on e-commerce, for example, or so big project, it will be, I mean, scale. I mean, in the future, here I recommend for you to use, I mean, a library like Redux. I think, so when we will talk about, you said, why Redux, why Zestan, why this? For me, I can say to you, maybe I don't know. All of them, they are based about flags pattern, as what I explained in my YouTube channel. So already I explained what is flags pattern. So yeah, I think it's the same idea, just to improve it more, and that's so good. About this stuff, I recommend for you. I mean, just choose one and dive deeply on it. If you are comfortable with the syntax, use it, and if you doesn't, find what I mean is comfortable for you, because here I think is up to you, really is up to the user. So for beginners, I recommend for you to start working with I mean Redux toolkit. It's so good. I mean, I recommend it for beginners as a library. I mean, it's so good. And then you can try Zestand also. It's so good. So yeah, the both is good. The both is great.
All right, cool, 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 cool. So like you spoke about, I think you what you did was kind of amazing because you kind of structured it into your states. Then the internal APIs that are being exposed from React, like use reducers and stuff, right? Then you talked about like an external state management tool, for example, Redux, Zstand, Recoil, or Mobix or whatever, right? So now 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 I think it's not really a question, but like it's more like now there's this conversation that's
Mm-hmm.
around use context, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so what scenario do you think in your React application? Because I think you already mentioned it, but I just want you to point it out again. You already
Yeah.
mentioned it where you talking about large application, need to like manage a lot of states, so you need to go with
Definitely.
a state management tool. Like there's some React developers you get to work with. They are like, oh, we don't need some external stuff. Let's just use what's building. Let's use context. Let's use let's just use context. We should use context for just sending the states down to the child component from the parents.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have to do
Definitely.
some prop drillings and whatever whatnot. Yeah. So like what do you think about using use context in your React application, like in a large React application?
I can give just a simple example also to the newbie. They can know it. Is for example the dark mode. Let's say if you want to do the dark mode, I'm right. This is really famous. Fixed by use context. I mean, you don't need something like that. For example, if you have the dark mode, you need to share that value like you are in dark, or like you are. I mean, light mode or the system. So here in this case, you can use context. Uh, I think also for me, honestly, by the way, I said like use context plus use reducer. I think this it's so strong pattern if you use the both, because by use reducer it can give you more than this. For example, let's say I can give you a scenario. You have like a page. It has a lot of manipulation you wanted to do. Just one page, not all the application. And that page is, for example, need complex state management. In this case, I think for me, use context and use reducer is enough because it's so strong. So yeah, and if you want to see like scenario about just use context, I say to you just like the dark mode, how to do the dark mode because the use context it's so good and fix the problem of I mean the the left-hand state app. So you should every time component should be inside, and so that's really good. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
okay,
still with you. Yeah, I'm still with you. Still with you. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it about state management. Yeah, so I think just to sum it up, right? Just if you're working in large projects, just go with the state management too. So you could have a global store
yeah,
where
yeah,
you,
yeah, definitely,
where you could
yeah,
manage
definitely.
your state properly, and just go in there. And I think
Okay,
for me,
okay,
I feel like doing a lot of prop drilling, right, in your React components, where you have to
hmm,
pass down where you have to pass down data from the parent to the child, child, like
yeah,
the React
definitely,
3.
yeah, yeah,
That shouldn't be
definitely,
very bad practice, and anyone that is actually
yeah,
practicing that should be arrested, because that particular code won't be able to be, should I say, be scalable. You have issues in the future, and as the application grows, because like React.js is component based, right? It's a component based library, like you mentioned. So like state management, to just choose the one that works for you. Like you said, the syntax that works for you. Do you like Redux, or do you like Redux toolkit? Do you prefer using use context? But like
yeah,
if you want to work with something very large, just go with the state management too, because the use state
definitely.
is not quite enough. Like it's just on the components. You can't really use it anywhere, because you have to start passing down the setters down to the child components, and it kind of makes your code very messy. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's just pretty much it about state management. I
yeah,
think,
definitely.
yeah. I just want to talk about. I think what I really wanted to talk about is just the future of React.js. And the future of React.js is quite you already know where I'm going to. You kind of it's quite amazing. It's a very very amazing
Yeah, yeah,
amazing
yeah. So
update coming
so
from the React team. I
yeah.
think you mentioned already. You mentioned compiler. You the React compiler coming in. I think React 19. So like what are the future of React.js? Like what feature are you excited about React.js? What are you looking forward to React.js? Very very, like, what is
So
happening in
so
React.js
yeah. So
ecosystem?
so
Yeah.
uh, so honestly, when we talk about React and when it came the compiler, it came with a strong help for developers, because, for example, let's say you will work when we say React, we say we're rendering. So we should be really careful about rendering. And as what you say, when you pass like the props as a from parent to child, from parent to child, that's give you a tree, it's like it will be bad for the performance. Here is the compiler came, and that's helped developers also to handle. To handle something to don't render it for that. So that means it will help the developers more and more and more, and that's so good. I'm seeing that that's so good. One thing I want to mention is again we see a lot of big companies they use it. For example, we talk about Instagram, we talk about Facebook, Netflix, Dropbox, Airbnb. So if you just
Wow.
if you go and check your Airbnb, the website, it's more than complex. Even it's or we talk about Netflix, it's managed the films. We say here we talk about 3D and gigabits of the films, and we talk about something so heavy. So that's so strong. Is these companies they show you like this is the power of React. So and they believe it, and it can be more and more and more. I think currently React it's did the conference. A lot of conferences you will find them. They talks about the features of compiler. it will came more and more by the team. uh, I'm so happy for this. Really, I'm so happy for this, and also for the new hooks, also for new stuff. That's so great. Really, that's why is React. React is it can every time give you something new. It can help you more. It can That's great.
Yeah, yeah, that's really really that's just like I think the reason why I kind of like I choose React is like you just some like React has new stuff for us every time, right? And it doesn't trade off the old updates. For example, we still have projects, right, that still run on class-based components. Yeah, you still have
Yeah,
project that
yeah,
still
yeah,
runs on class-based components, like even depreciated hooks or depreciated APIs that are in React, like they are still in the code. You can still use them. React.js has been evolving in the past few years, and it's been really an amazing journey for we as like React.js developers on the front end. I think for me, what I'm quite excited about the future of React.js is I won't call it a future, but like I think we're in the future already. I'm quite excited about React Server components. I'm excited about server actions,
yeah.
server components. Yeah, like
Yes,
those stuff is really it's really mind blowing, right? Because we've been writing React.js on the clients, right? We've been writing React.js on the client-based components before we're introduced to stuff like, okay, use server, where we have to like specify if this component is just gonna be a client component or a server component. Now, I'm saying this now, and it sounds like I'm talking about Next.js, right? But I'm actually not talking about Next.js because
I see.
those APIs are all like coming from React.js. In as much as
Yeah,
the Next.js team has they have like some special stuff that, for example, the image components, for example, the app router, like those are the stuff that
yeah.
the APIs that are
Definitely.
coming from Next.js directly. I'm quite excited about the React Server components, server component as a whole, like everything it has to give to us, where we have to don't we don't have to render everything on like on the clients, right? You could just use the server,
Yeah,
and you could communicate with your database directly from your React code. Like that
yeah.
is that is really really amazing. Yeah,
I
go
just
go
I
go go
want to
ahead.
mention. I just want to mention something. React also is a library. I mean, it's made you free. I mean, you feel like you are so free. You have mainly freedom. It's really great. And I have a small experience with Angular. As one day I want to test an application with Angular, and I found something I need a help by the community of Angular. When I searched, really, it was hard for me to find the answer about the testing stuff. I mean, using Jasmine and Karma. The people who detest on Angular, they will know this. Jasmine and Karma.
Yeah.
So here I see Google. I mean, they force you to choose Google Chrome, and I didn't like that. Really, I didn't like that. If you want to test, if you want to test an application Angular with Jasmine and Karma, they force you to choose Google Chrome. If you don't have Google Chrome,
Whoa.
you can't test the application.
Oh.
That is, I feel I'm not free, like the company force you for
Yeah.
using that because they have the tools. I don't know if they have like some tool on Google Chrome. Why doesn't make it like open source or give it? I don't know. But instead of React, I mean, wow, React, the testing, it's so beautiful using like a JS testing library by Kinsey Dot. You have a
Yeah.
lot of you have a lot of options and you can find a lot of answers. That's also it's great about testing. When we talk about the code also in the future for the newbie, sure they will learn testing and testing is more important also. That's really great.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. I think, yeah, talking about vendor lock-in, right? What you just talked about right now. React.js React.js is just existing, right? You could go, for example, right? You want to work with router, you need a router, right? You mustn't use React router, right? We have other
Hmm.
options out there you could use to handle your router. So if you don't like the syntax, or maybe you don't really like some things, React router handles or the way they do it, you could go ahead and try out stuff like Stack router,
Yeah,
which is really amazing to like React
yeah,
Router. Like React.js doesn't give you this like you must do this, you must use this. Like there's a lot of
yeah,
option, like you
definitely,
mentioned. There's a lot of option.
definitely.
Your state management, so you could go with Redux, you could go with wherever. Like there's a lot of stuff depending on what you
You mean
want, you and your team. Yeah, so
you mean
like
you can
React.js
integrate
is
it with other with any technologies, and or other technologies is more like it's a lot, yeah. And that's really powerful. You feel like so
yeah,
flexible.
yeah, that is quite like an advantage. Now, I could say that is also like a disadvantage for we as React developers because, for example, you mentioned Angular, and I think I did write Angular at some point. Like you said, just installing Angular, right? Like npm install your project, run on the CLI. Angular comes in
Yeah,
with the Angular form.
NGX. Yeah,
Yeah, NGX, right?
yeah,
It comes with the form. It comes with the form. I think it also comes with the API, like what you use to
yeah. The
fetch.
services, yeah, services with
Yeah, like it comes with those
requirement.
stuff. And React.js, that is at that point, React.js kind of handles
Definitely.
that differently. Yeah, because React.js is just you could use fetch, you could use your regular fetch exposed right on the browser, or you could just go ahead and install Axios, or you could use SWRO for your like your
React
mutation
query.
and your queries. Yeah,
Yeah,
or React query. Like there's a lot of options, and it gives you this flexibility. In as much as it's an advantage, I also see it
yeah,
as a
definitely.
disadvantage because I also see it as a disadvantage because newbies, and when I say
Yeah,
newbies, I mean
yeah,
people that are just starting
yeah,
out. They don't know which to use. Like you see questions like, okay, should I go with Axios? Should I just use Axios? Should I use Downstar Query? Should I use
yeah, yeah,
SWRU? Should I use like? There's a lot of
yeah.
the decision
Yeah,
is not made.
definitely.
So like
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah, so I could say that yeah, go ahead.
yeah, definitely, as what you said, because when we have the, I mean, the freedom a lot, also it can be, it's can be not okay more because when you have a lot of freedom, you don't have the guide for something. Here we say that's what if you remember, I said in the beginning, Angular, it's really good in best practices because just you came to the
Yeah,
project, you shouldn't go here or here. You have just one thing. You should follow the I mean the patterns they have. They force you. I mean, you don't have another things. I mean, to be outside. But instead of React, it's powerful more, and it's give you like you can do everything. You can custom. I mean, the infrastructure of the project as what you want. Do the components inside this. You can is a lot of things, and that's good. But at the same time, is not good. That's here is like the
yeah,
complexity as what you recommend, because when you will have a lot of tools, you will not know which one you will use as the perfect time, what I will use here, what I will use here, and that also confuse the beginners.
yeah. That is. I think you just actually hit the nail on its head because in as much as it gives you superpower, React.js, right? It gives you the superpower to be flexible, but
Yeah,
like when you're starting out, you won't be able to really make that decision because you don't know which is which. You don't know which works for you. So I think that is just for me. I think that should be one of the quite disadvantage of using React.js, but apart from that, React.js is amazing for real. Like it's like you said, gives you flexibility and
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
I think
That's so
yeah.
great.
So
That's so great, man. Yeah, it's really
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think what we could just talk about right now is the how can you stay updated in the React.js ecosystem? How
Oh,
can you stay updated? What are the tips? What are the tips are you gonna give React.js developers, like people that working on the front end with React.js? How
yeah,
can they stay
yeah,
updated? Because we've talked about different things now on this call. We've talked about a lot of updates. We talked about the future. Like we as React.js developers right now, we already know what's coming in the future, right?
yeah,
We know what's
definitely.
coming in the next future, what's coming in the next release. Yeah. So like how can you give us some tips and how we can stay
Definitely.
updated as
Yeah,
React.js
yeah.
developers? Yeah.
So yeah, for I will talk about the ecosystem right now. what I recommend, I mean, the roadmap already. So start first of all, start learning, I mean, the basic React. Try to build any application like a portfolio or anything so simple. Try to understand what is library, what is framework. I can give you, I mean, the difference between library and framework. When we say library is something so small, it's not enough for with your full application. When you say framework, it's enough, I mean, by the function itself, and you can add another libraries on that. So when we say React library is a library, is not a framework to fix everything. So try to understand this and came with the mindset, okay, I have React right now. What I need React router for routing. Okay, I need this tool, I need this tool. Uh, try to do this. So after that, when you learn these basics, I recommend for you to dive deeply also to learn what is a storybook, for example, how to create a design system using React. So that's also is so good. I mean, to create a design system, it's a lot of things. Try to work with React Query. It's powerful, and also it's recommended by the team. I mean, of React. If you go and you check, you will find. I mean, they say like when we say
Yeah.
about fetching the data by use effects is not recommended. I mean, it's not recommended by the by React team. If you go to documentation, you will find like they recommend for you to use like React Query or another library for that. So that's what I mean. This is the library, it's not the framework. So try to understand this philosophy of React, how that works. So and don't worry about the UI libraries. It's a lot. I recommend for you also ShadCN. Try to learn how to integrate ShadCN library. Is by the one person from the team of Versal who create Next.js. That's so powerful. So it's so optimizable, and that's so good. And a lot of companies, the use it. You can find a lot of mini libraries. So for me, the tips I can give to you is try to understand really what is the virtual DOM. Try to understand the hooks, how that works on React. When we say use state, use effect, what is the difference between use ID and the key? Why we need the key? I mean, when we map. Okay, this talking for the beginners, it will be hard, but just take an idea. And you will remember that when you will learn. So try to understand the hooks well, how that works. If you can also dive deeply behind the scene how that works, I mean that can help you more because you can understand. I mean the work progress, how that works, when why we have like re-rendering, how we got re-rendering. So yeah, try to understand this really good, and then try to follow. I mean, the best practices. Like the best practices of React is like to avoid re-rendering, and when we say re-rendering, it's like you can have extra rendering or something. Try to understand this and avoid it by a lot of patterns and a lot of things, and try to understand how to fetch the data. Then you can add more libraries. Then you will be strong. Sure, you will be strong. Add more libraries, and you can be really strong. It's up to the project you work on it. I recommend for you also Tailwind CSS. It's so good, and it's custom. It's like it's boosts your productivity. I like it so much, and I recommend it for you. What I can say to you, yeah. Also, you can start working with CSS modules just to know how that works, or sided component libraries for CSS. You can integrate it with React. So, but let's skip on React itself. I think try to understand the state management libraries you work with. It. If you work with Redux toolkit, try to understand, or Redux usual, or Mobix or whatever. Try to understand use context well because it's so useful. Hook, it's so good. Also, the side effect, we talk about use effect. This kind, if you really understand this, you will be so strong in React. Really, you will be so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I can say to you. Start step by step, okay? Step by step. Start
Yeah.
beginning, yeah, small project, then start be complex. You can create the blog. By the way, you can check my blog, or like Gitcoder, that version of the app. You can check it, and you can
Yeah.
create some
I'll
project
put
like
I'll
that.
put a link to the video. I'll put a link to your blog.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they check
yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
Yeah, you will check it, and you can build some, not like that exactly, but you can build, I mean, for example, like a simple portfolio for you or blog, and that's so good in beginning, give you a confidence, and then you can create a e-commerce, e-commerce website, or like some stuff like that. Or I have the last advice for you guys. If you have anything you like, for example, if you are a football player, you look football, build a website about football. If you like music, build a website about music. If you like anything, build a website about that, and that's help you to be motivated for learning this.
Right, all right. That's you actually quite mentioned a lot of things, and
Yeah.
and when you got to the end part, you talked about taking it step by step, which is very important because you mentioned quite a number of things to that needs to be learned before you could really call yourself a good React.js developer. And
Hmm.
it's really amazing you saying you have to take this step by step, because for a newbie this is quite complex, this is quite much, this is like you mentioned different stuff like they need to learn. You talked about state management, you talked about styling, you talked
Yeah,
about
definitely.
best practices. So like these are all the stuff you need to take step by step. and
Exactly. Yeah, I want to
and
say
and
is I want. Sorry, I stopped you. I want to say if when you will, this is React. When you will start, it will be like this. You can't learn the same
yeah,
thing at the same time. You will step by step.
exactly.
Your, your range will be bigger and bigger, and you will learn.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, cool, cool, cool. So, I think the best, like you mentioned, just make sure you build projects. The best way to get better at React.js, wherever framework you want to learn, wherever programming language out there you want to learn, whatever you're learning, is to build
yeah,
out projects. Make sure you're building out projects. Make sure you don't get stuck in tutorial hell, just watching videos. Make sure you trying out the new skills, the new stuff you're ready for the documentation. Just build out projects. Be flexible. Build out different stuff,
yeah,
different ideas.
yeah, definitely.
Um, there are a lot of ideas out there you could build. You mentioned blog, you mentioned e-commerce, you mentioned like there's a lot of stuff you could build, right? With
Yeah, 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 definitely.
with React.js. And the main idea is to understand the concepts, right? To understand the
Yeah, the
concept,
concepts.
how does state management to come into play? How do I make use of styling, a styling library? Why do I need to make use of a styling library? Why don't I just write CSS, CSS3? Why
Yeah,
must I use
yeah,
Tailwind? Why must I use style component? Like just be flexible, try out different stuff, work on different projects. And I think you should be quite alright
yeah,
with
yeah,
getting
yeah,
updated with React.js. Um
yeah.
uh,
That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, great, great, great stuff. I think we pretty much have some questions from I think from Instagram directly. And
Yeah.
I think one of the followers, he said, how many times do I need to learn React.js? Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Can
like
you repeat the
so
question?
he said okay, so how many times do I need to learn React.js?
Okay, how many? Okay, so for me, I can say look, when we don't have something named time in programming, that's really important. Okay, we have something like you go ahead and you start working on that, and it's up to your skills. If your skills it's enough, and it's because for example I can say for me it can take for me like 1 month and 2 months, but look, we have something, it's like go learn, we don't have time, you go and you learn step by step, because I can say to you, you can learn react, it's so, it has the levels, you can learn a lot of things, and you need to have a problems to learn. So what I recommend for you is to learn react by basic, the fundamentals of react is can take to you 2 weeks to 1 month, but this is just the fundamentals you will learn. Then you will go ahead and you will start building the projects, you will find new problems, and you will start learn more by that problems. That's what I can say to you. But if I can say to you, like, after 2 weeks you will be, master of react.
Yeah,
That is,
not not
we
not quite
yeah,
possible.
yeah. I hope I answered
Yeah,
about this.
yeah. So I think for me, to add to what you just said,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
many times do I need to learn React.js? I think it goes back to what we just discussed, right? what you're learning, right? Try to put it into play. For me, I think for me, when I started out learning JavaScript, I had an issue where I was stuck with tutorial hell, right? I was
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah.
watching.
Tutorials.
I understood concept of like JavaScript. I understood promises. I understood object. I
Mm-hmm.
understood everything, like everything that has to do with JS,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
vanilla
yeah.
JavaScript. But I couldn't put it to use. Like I couldn't use it to do nothing. So like I
Yeah,
was always finding myself going back to tutorials, back and forth. So there was this back and forth. I had to learn JavaScript many times. So like I think
yeah,
that is what the
definitely.
person is asking right now. Like how many times do I need to, like I think for me to add to what you just said, just you don't need to learn it many times. You just need to learn, like you learn every day, right? You
Yeah,
have to keep on
definitely.
learning every day and every day and every day. Like it's an everyday what's the word now? It's an everyday thing. You don't just learn
Consistency.
React.js once, and
Yeah,
updates are always coming to the ecosystem of React.js. New stuff are always being updated. So like you need to be learning every day, and just make sure you build out tutorials. Make sure you use what you know to build stuff, and I think
definitely.
you should be quite all right with that. So I think another question was why should I choose React.js, not Angular or Vue.js? I think we answered this actually, but like you could
Yeah,
just
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said because you can, if you are like you just finished JavaScript, yeah, I recommend for you React because you don't need React JS or Vue.js. Okay, that's also I can recommend for you Vue.js. I don't know if it's matched with you, but for me, I said React because we talk about that it has big community more than Vue, I think, and it's so strong more. So yeah, just start with React because I say to you has more. I mean it has a lot of community, easy to learn, so you can find any answer as what we said, and it's can be integrated with a lot of technologies also as what I said. So that's so good and strong. Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much cool. Um, yeah, I think like he says, why do we need Redux? I think we answered this too. So I think
Yeah, I
for
think we
I
this
could I could
we cover everything.
yeah, we covered everything. Like everything is like we already covered everything like in the conversation we had. So just to I could just take this, right. So why do you need Redux? You need Redux because to manage states properly. I think you mentioned this already. To manage states, and the whole idea around Redux and any state management tool is to have
Yeah,
a global store, right? A global store where all your components can go in and um they could feed
yeah,
on. Yeah, they could go in and feed each data. Like that is just the whole idea around Redux. So why you need
yeah,
Redux is to have a global store, so you don't have to pass down a lot of props, and so you could have a more cleaner code
yeah.
and more structured code. Do you have anything to add to that too?
Yeah, 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 definitely. That's so good because as what you mentioned is, I mean, Redux, it's give you the store and that's so powerful. It's separate that and you can get the data, I mean, everywhere you want. I mean, from this component, you have to store here. If you want this variable, you get it. If you want to edit this variable, you can edit from here, from here, from here. It's not, you don't need to lift that down from the tiles in the components, and that is bad practice. That's so strong, yeah, as what Evergreen he said. So yeah, that's why you need to learn, I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty much really amazing. I think at this point we should be wrapping up. Like we should be wrapping up this video. We've quite passed our time, and okay.
Yeah,
So I think yeah. So in this video, right, we mostly talked about we talked about we actually touched different stuff in React.js. We talked about the future of React.js, talked about how to
yeah,
get started, how to pretty much be a better React.js developer, right? Where you don't have to
yeah,
be
yeah,
so confused about the updates, what's happening, not yet. Just stick to the basics, stick to the fundamentals, and it should be quite all right. Yeah, so I think you could just give us your final thought on React.js for beginners, because mostly this video we're trying to target it at beginners, right?
yeah,
People
definitely
that
it's for
are
beginners.
starting at React.js. So like, what are your final thoughts for beginners? And yeah, for
My
React.js, what?
final thought, yeah, Yeah, my final thought for beginners, just starting building a simple projects by using React. The advice I can give to you is all the technologies, I mean libraries, me and Evergreen, we talk about it. You can't learn it at the same time, at the same day. No, go learn fundamentals of React, start to build something. When you will start building something, at the same time you will integrate that application. I mean, you will start learning, because your learning force you to learn what you need, because you will be in the problem, and the problem library solve it. For example, if I want to start, I mean, to build my portfolio, I work with React. Okay, so then I found the problem is routing. React doesn't have, I mean, it does have the routes, how it doesn't help you for routes. So here, okay, you find we have something named React Router, for example, and you came and you start learning that. So then, like this, and after that, you will find another problem. You find the library, solve it step by step, like this. Then you will learn. Uh, yeah, React also is good in the market. I think you will find a job. It's really important. That's all good. A lot of companies use it, as what we said: Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, Dropbox, Airbnb. So is this is WhatsApp also. This is like a really big companies. I mean, do use that. Second, I can say to you, by the way, React.js, you can use it with Electron, and also you can use it for mobile app when we say React Native. So that also is so strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. We didn't mention that. That's so strong because React
Yeah,
Native is
we,
so
we
good.
we didn't. I actually,
Yeah,
yeah, I actually didn't wanted to go into that because I just wanted to keep it just basics and more like what we I think we talked about. We actually went across the basics. We talked about
yeah,
a little about server components, but like we didn't really go in much into it. So, like you said, React.js, it's pretty much not going anywhere soon.
yeah,
React.js, like you said, React.js is being backed by a lot of amazing companies.
yeah,
You mentioned quite a few of them. Meta, which is I think the
yeah,
number one company, which is also Facebook, and so React.js is quite here to stay. And so it's really advisable to learn React.js, like for real. Like if I'm giving you my 100% opinion for the market and to be marketable, React.js
yeah,
works because
yeah,
with
yeah,
your
yeah,
React skills, as you mentioned, you could also pick up React Native, which is
yeah,
quite a
definitely.
different, which is a quite different word compared to like mobile development. But like you're writing React.js, what you already know in React.js, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Honestly, that's
yes,
also
yeah,
give him the power. I mean, it's do you know, in the future it's made you like so strong. I mean, you feel like React is enough for you about everything. Okay, I need the mobile app. I will do React Native. If I need desktop application, I will merge. I mean, React with Electron. If I want to, I mean, work on web development, I have React JS. So yeah, that's so good.
yeah. I think for a minute there,
Tenta.
we actually lost Gitcoder, and yeah, I think we're already coming to the end of this
Ona
particular
Ramabashi.
series and this episode. Yeah, so we're just talking about. I was just asking him to give us a final thoughts, what he thinks about React.js, what little advice he could give out to beginners and people starting out in React.js. And I think it should be here soon. So we just like wrap this up, and it should be here soon. So we just wrap this up real quick. Okay, so let's just quickly wait for him to join us real quick. Oh yeah, he's here
Yes,
already.
yes, yes, yes.
Amazing, 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 amazing,
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, that's really cool things. Evergreen, we talk about. There's a lot of things that we said. I mean,
Yeah, like there's a lot of information in the episode. And I think this should just be one of the many episodes that we get to discuss about stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think let's quickly wrap this up. How can I think you already mentioned some resources, like, right? Can you
mhm.
just give us some resources? How can I stay updated? I think I asked you this already. I don't know if you can still hear me. I doubt. Okay.
Okay, okay. hmm I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for today. Just a problem. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
it's
it what you
it's
said.
pretty much fine. Yeah. So I was talking about like, can you give us some resources, like some sites? Where can we go to get updated? Where can we get what is
Yeah,
happening? Like, how can new resources? What like how can I stay updated with this whole changing phase of on the front
yeah,
end? Yeah.
that's really good question. First of all, I recommend for you Discord community and the YouTube channel for the people who they ask about Redux. Already, I did the video how it works behind the scene. You can find it in my channel,
Yeah.
and
Amazing
also my
video. Yeah.
Discord. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate. And also the video. I mean, sorry, I mean the Discord server. It's have the community of that. I mean, and if you have any question, you can ask me, or I can ask Evergreen. He's a really good person and can answer you. Anyway, about the resources, I recommend for you to join any community. That's really important because when you join the communities and we talk with the people, you got the ideas more, you got how the developers they think, and that's really important. And second is, the resources we have a lot. For example, I recommend for you. Yassin for UI UX. I recommend for you. The hero icons for the icons SVGs. I recommend for you. It's a lot. We can mention them there. And for learning React, the documentation it's really important. I mean the
Yeah.
documentation by building the game. I mean TikTok. I mean that game for that. At the same time, what I can suggest for you is watching Evergreen video. He's a great person.
Oh
It's really
yeah.
great. It's amazing
Yeah.
resource. Really, it's so good. Has amazing videos. He explains so good. Just watch. The videos by him and join community. That's the second thing. And as what Evergreen he mentioned, like don't to be in like the tutorial hell because it's really the tutorial hell it's not okay. So that's why Evergreen he explained with this method. If you see how he explains something, like he explained with one methodology to how I can explain it's next level.
Yeah.
That's so great, and to build like
Amazing. Yeah.
believable. I'm so sorry about this, but do you know I recommend?
Okay.
I remember myself in the past. I was watching one video. It's like about the tutorial hell. It was so funny. I think by the Prime Agent, if you know him, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
like
Prime. Yeah, I do.
yeah. I remember one thing about the tutorial hell. It's made me like this. Yeah, I recommend for you Evergreen. He's a really good person for tutorials. Join community. It's also important. Because the community will find the people, and then searching. Just searching in Google more and more, and you can get a lot of things.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
What do you
Amazing.
think ever
Amazing.
about
Amazing.
what do you think ever about the tutorial hall? For the people, and how did you switch? The methodology, how you explain in the videos, like. Because the methodology when you explain it's unique other developers. Like you have some things, and that's really helped the people who they are new.
Yeah. Yeah. I think first off, I think let me. I think I just wanted to add to what you said about the the how to stay updated. Okay, so I think to stay updated, you quite mentioned everything. Just make sure you join the community. Make sure
Yeah,
you're updated. Okay, so I think one important thing you could also do, you could you could s- just be active on Twitter, right?
yeah, yeah. Important.
Twitter is a very like tech. Twitter is like very, very, very amazing place because, yeah, but like it's kind of controversial most times. Like there's always this argument about what is the best practices, what is not this, but like you could stay updated with what is happening,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
How the update are coming, and like you said, make sure you join a community. We have React communities in like all over the
Yeah.
world. Make sure you attend conferences that has to do with front end
Yeah,
React JS. Like we
conferences.
have
Yeah,
we
that's
have a lot around the world. We have in every country, and yeah, I think that should pretty much be how
the
to stay
meetups.
updated.
We forget the
Yeah.
meetups also. The meetups, if you have a meetups or the meetups,
Yeah,
yeah.
meetups. Yeah, make sure you attend meetups because you get to meet people in real life, and it's really, really, really amazing too.
Yeah,
It
it's
helps
really
you.
great.
Yeah, it helps you build. It helps you build. Should I say the connection with people in real
Networking.
life? Yeah, make sure you network in real life with your fellow front end engineers and stuff. And for your second question, talking about my tutorials, I think I quite actually I think the main idea for me is just to make it very basic, right?
Yeah.
Because
No, not just very basic,
because
but I see is basic and strong at the same time.
yeah,
It's
like
basic,
basic and
but
strong at the same
yeah,
time. Yeah, but like the main idea, like when I try to put out content out there or try to make videos, is to I'm actually targeting people that are starting out, right? Because for
hmm,
me, when I started out like trying to watch videos, trying to understand stuff, I do
yeah,
hear this I do hear jargons, like a lot of front end jargons, a lot of
yeah.
programming
I see.
jargons I don't
Yeah,
understand. Imagine I'm trying to learn how to make asynchronous JavaScript or try to work with async JavaScript, and I'm hearing promises. I'm hearing async awaits. I'm hearing like I'm confused, right? I don't
yeah,
know like I'm getting more confused, like
yeah.
confused on top more confusion, right? I don't know if that's the correct English. So like I try as much as possible to just make it very basic and at the same time make sure you have like a strong foundation and a strong understanding of what you're learning. Yeah, I think that's pretty much amazing. And
And I liked, by the way, the colors project you did. The colors
oh
project you
yeah, yeah,
explained.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's so great. I recommend for you guys to watch it by Evergreen. Just check the channel and you will find it. It's so great, and it's cover a lot of things on React. That's really
yeah,
amazing. How to do the animation, how to. It's so great. That's amazing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah, you guys should check out the video and yeah, I think for so like if any of the viewers, right, actually want to follow you on social media, I think you could just give us your social media handles, and
yeah.
I think I'll also leave them in the link of the video description. And yeah, but just
Okay, so my social media, so me on Instagram is Gitcoder.
oh
As
yeah,
the people know me is Gitcoder. On Twitter, you would find me the Gitcoder. On YouTube, the Gitcoder. On LinkedIn, my name Yassin Haimouj. On the Discord, the Gitcoder. So that's all. You will find Gitcoder or the Gitcoder. That's all. If just this is my social network.
yeah, yeah, cool, cool, cool. So you guys should go check out Skoda. He has amazing stuff on IG, amazing community. I think he also mentioned his Discord channel. Yeah, so like amazing stuff like to stay updated and to stay updated with the whole happenings. And yeah, so like I think we've come to the end of this particular
Yeah,
video,
yeah.
and I just want to say thank you again for taking out time from your busy schedule
Wow.
to do this with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope we get to do something again in the future. And yeah, just thank you for taking out time to do
Yeah,
this.
I
Thank you,
thank you
man.
so much. Thank you so much for Evergreen for your inviting me. So I mean for your
Yeah,
invitation. I appreciate that, man. It was really good call for for raising sharing people. We like to share with people because we are patient about about the community, and that's so good, man.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's all. Thank you. I hope I was good.
Yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
this.
You're pretty much amazing. Yeah, pretty much amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
Pretty
so
much
much.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we should come to the end. Guys, make sure you share the video, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe because more content and more guests to be brought to the channel. And definitely more exciting stuff on the channel, more tutorials. You should go and check out Gitcoder YouTube
Okay.
channel. It has content coming up to there, amazing content too coming up on front end. On the front end, yeah. So thank you guys for sticking to this
Thank you
part
so
of the
much.
video, and thank you Gitcoder for doing this with me. Bye
Thank
guys.
you.
See you in the
Bye.
next video.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you.